We finish out the Psalms with Book 5, a 45 Psalm book, so rather large. We do discover that David is back with a vengeance. He has 14 of the 45 Psalms there, nearly a third. So his silence that we saw, or his relative silence that we saw in Book 3 and Book 4, has now been replaced by pretty impressive presence that we get in Book 5. We also have another collection that we talk about called the Song of Ascents. Psalms 120 to 134 are called the Song of Ascents, probably because of their frequent references to Jerusalem. Many of them have it in their superscription. The Psalms themselves are traditionally read at the Feast of Tabernacles or the Festival of Booths or Succoth. There's no single dominant gatum. There's no one form here. These are laments and hymns and royal psalms and wisdom psalms. So probably the assumption is that these would be pilgrimage songs, that they would be sung, journeying toward Jerusalem. Certainly reading them at Succoth would, I think, have that give that idea, because that's a Jewish holiday that remembers the wilderness wandering. So pilgrimage might be a natural thought there. The one collection that you have quite a few of in Book 5, that you see them throughout the Psalter, but they're in Book 5, are the Imprecatory Psalms. 32 Psalms in the Psalter are Imprecatory Psalms, several of them 109, 137, 149 in Book 5. And I want to say a few words about that. These Imprecatory Psalms are also known as cursing Psalms. Most of them are in the mouth of David. And these are songs where the singer is asking God to curse his enemies, and sometimes in very harsh language. John Wesley forbid singing them. You weren't allowed to sing these psalms. Many of your lectionary readings, if you're part of a church that follows a lectionary, many of the lectionaries do not include the cursing psalms. And there are several different objects. Sometimes they're cursing some societal enemy. Sometimes they're cursing a national enemy or a community enemy. Sometimes they're cursing a personal enemy. 109, in fact, is cursing a personal enemy that you have. So pretty harsh language that you get, and they've been used a variety of ways. And I want to just say a few words about the cursing psalms. Yes, they're harsh. Yes, they're difficult. And they certainly don't fit any liturgical purpose that we have. Although I have seen a resurgence of these whenever you get someone in office, a presidential office, that many churches would object to. All of a sudden there's this revisiting of the cursing psalms. So there were a number of very conservative churches that objected to Obama being president. And all of a sudden now you see a resurgence of Psalm 109. In fact, I saw bumper stickers, right? May his days in office be few. So whenever you have a leader they don't approve of, then all of a sudden the cursing psalms are okay. But they're really harsh. They really, really are harsh. I do think there's some significant points to look here, though. The psalmists never pray that they be the ones permitted to take vengeance on their enemies. They are always asking God to be the avenger. It's always that God is the one who's rising up against our adversaries. I also think it's significant that in a moral universe, God is not neutral here. God desires righteousness and justice, and the psalmist knows this and is asking God to act for the side of righteousness and justice and curse those who don't. But perhaps one of the most significant points to me of the Psalter, of the imprecatory psalms in the Psalter, is that at no time do any of the cursing psalms ever exceed lex talionis. Never. In other words, the psalmist is asking for vengeance and he's asking for punishment, but he is only asking for punishment insofar as that individual has suffered. In other words, I have suffered greatly, and as a result, I want God to bring that same level of suffering on the person who's caused me that suffering. So it's never just letting your enemies have it. It is only responding to the degree that that individual has suffered. And we'll look at an example, one of the best examples, I think, of the cursing psalms in the next couple of videos.